Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about some of the miracle stories that are happening right here in our own city, in our own state, every day. My name is Tony Coscia, and the title of our show is Tony's 50,000 Coincidence Miracles. Please note, this show is not about religion, and we're not trying to change anyone's religion, and we're not trying to get you to join any religion. It's just about miracle stories. I don't know of any religion on the planet that doesn't talk about miracles. That's why religions begin, because they have something that's telling them there's really a God. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to just talk about miracles and leave the decisions about all that up to you. So we don't care what religion you are. We just want to talk about miracles. If you are an atheist, I think you'll enjoy the program as well, although I can't guarantee you'll remain an atheist very long after you hear many convincing stories, coincidence kinds of stories about miracles. You can email me your own stories if you wish. We'll try to use all we can on the show. I can't guarantee we will, depending on volume and time, but you're welcome to send your stories on to us, and we will mention them when we can. You can send them to the following email address. But please notice that if we do use your story, we won't mention your name. We'll keep you anonymous. And we suggest that in your story, when you send it to us, don't use your correct name. That way anyone listening will not be able to figure out that it was you that sent the story in. The email address you can send your stories to is very easy to remember. It consists of 2 words and 3 numbers. The first word is Tony, spelled Tony, and the second word is and, spelled A-N-D, and the numbers are 777. So once again, the name is Tony and 777 at AOL.com. Well, let us begin. Hi, everyone. This is week number 42, and probably this is the last chance for you to order our books from Barnes & Noble or Amazon and get them delivered in time for Christmas as Christmas gifts. And I've been telling you over the past several weeks that our books are life-changing, and you can learn all about them if you Google the title. The title of the books are Tony's 50,000 Coincidence Miracles, or you can go to our website, which is WCAT, that's WCATradio.com/miracles/. If you go to that website, you'll be able to learn all about our books. But if you're going to order them as Christmas gifts, you want to order them from Barnes & Noble quickly as possible, so they'll be delivered by Christmas. Okay, today I'd like to share an amazing thing that happened. As many of you know, I evangelize and I pass out little tiny business cards that explain a lot about our mission and about the 2 books that I wrote. And I was passing them out one day, and I came upon 2 sisters. They were twins, somewhere around the age of 20, I think. And I handed out the card, and I suggested they might be interested in reading the books, and I told them a lot of it was about my life story and about miracles I receive every day. And one of the twins looked at me and said, "Oh, I don't need that," especially when I told her that it was about God and His miracles, and she said, "Oh, I don't need that." She said, "I am God." And I looked at her face. I never heard somebody say that to me before, and she wasn't kidding. She really was telling me that she is God. And so I was really inspired by God to ask some questions. I wasn't condemning her, or I wasn't suspicious of her. I was intrigued by how this person around the age of 20, in my opinion, was so definite and positive that she was God. So I was captivated and inspired. And so I did what I was inspired. I asked God what to do, and so I started asking her questions. And I came to learn that she was born and raised in a family that had no religion at all, and the message in their family from their parents was not to bother with religions because they're all confused and they don't all have it right and whatever they were told, but they were told to shy away from religion because it just causes them problems. That's an interesting slant, right? And because there are 41,000 different Christian religions out there, a lot of people have this attitude, if there's 41,000 religions, there must be something wrong with them, that they can't, all get together and have one or maybe 5 religions. Why are there 41,000? So there are a lot of people that won't pay any attention to religion just because of the fact there's 41,000 out there arguing about what's right and what's wrong. And so in their family, in their life, they shied away from talking about religion. So she never really read the Bible. She never had any training. When she talked to people who were talking about religion, she would shy away from it. And because I was asking her questions, she was sharing with me. You see, I wasn't preaching to her and talking to her, so she was very happy to tell me about, the things I wanted to know about, let's call it, open quotes, her religion, close quotes. Because if she thinks that she's God, then the rest of us must be God, and that sounds to me like a religion in a way. So she probably isn't realizing that she's making a statement that she's got her own religion if she's God. So I asked a lot of questions, and I learned a lot, and I learned things that she had a strong attitude of like mind over matter. I know we've read about it and we've heard about it, but she really believed that with her own mind and this power that she had, that she could control things and change things, even things outside of herself. And she has had experience where that was happening. She would want something to happen, and it would happen. So in her own mind, in her own religion, so to speak, and she's all the members in her religion is only one, herself. And in her religion, she can want something, and it happens. And so she sees power in this desire and wanting. Now, I hasten to add, she was a very delightful, good woman, about the age of 20, but she cited some things, how she gives to charity, she helps people, helps her neighbor, she loves her neighbor as herself. She's doing all these things that the 41,000 religions say that she should do, but she doesn't realize it because she hasn't studied the religions. So I just wanted to let you know that we're talking to a good person here, and who just doesn't want to practice a thing called religion. And she noticed that she had this inner power. She's 20 now, but she noticed this perhaps at the age of 6 or 7. And she noticed that she had power in her own thoughts and solving problems. When she had a problem, she would, get quiet and get serious in her mind and think about it, ponder it, and come up with, great answers. And her sister, who was her twin, confirmed this and spoke up for her several times while we were talking. And her sister said, absolutely, she said, when I'm trying to make a decision and I can't figure things out and I'm having trouble and I'm getting all stressed out, I go to her and I talk to her, and, we solve it in 5 minutes time, and I have great peace. And so I was really amazed and really impressed with these two people. They were twin sisters, and one of them really believes she's God, although she can't explain it because she hasn't studied God, so she doesn't know. When she says, I am God, she doesn't know what that really means. She means she's the God of her own universe. She's the God of what she has defined and what she thinks God is. In the process of me asking her a lot of questions about how she knew she was God, etc., one of the points she made, which I think is very informative, is she said that she knows that there's a God within herself because of the way things function, the way she thinks inside of her mind, or she desires something within herself, and it does happen. She's not talking to some force or some power outside of herself. She's not going to some place or some church to figure things out. She, in her life, so far at the age of about 20, she's found from maybe the age of 6 through 20, that's 14 years, that she goes to herself, within herself, and that's where this experience of power and wisdom occurs. And so I think it's important to notice that that's one of the reasons she was so convinced that she was God, is because, it's like a sponge that's wet with water, and they say, well, I don't need to go anywhere for water because I have water within me. And that's kind of what she was saying. She was kind of saying, I'm like a wet sponge, and, I have this presence of God in me, and therefore I am God. And so because she hadn't studied any religions or read the lives of any of the 10,000 saints, she didn't realize that she was going through much of what the 10,000 saints go through and much of what the Bible explains. And by the way, many of the 41,000 religions all teach similar things, even though they disagree on some things. So she just didn't realize that there's a different answer to this question. Well, she was a good person, and she let me explain when I was reaching out to her to tell her what the other religions call this sensation she's going through. And I explained to her how the Christian religion talks about how we have the presence of God, and so does the Jewish religion talk about them possessing the presence of God as well. So that helped a little bit. And I also explained that if she feels that she's God and she meets a lot of people like herself, then what she's really saying in summary to the rest of the world is that we are all gods, but then why do we have all the conflicts we have? There must be some distinction and difference between us, and then that helped me to explain to her the power and the force of good and evil and how evil entered into the world. And so that helped her to see, well, why are we not all gods? I mean, she just woke up one morning after being born and realized that she was God, so why isn't everybody else doing that? So that was a good thing to help her focus on, well, then there must be 7 billion gods, but we're all not agreeing, we're all disagreeing, we have wars and battles, and we kill each other at wartime, and so all of that doesn't match with the fact that some people are just born as God. How many gods are there, etc. So it opened the door for her to want to ask some more questions, and I was able to answer some other things. I was also able to explain to her that she's not wrong, that God dwells within her, because the Bible explains that. So God does dwell within us. We say that God is everywhere, and everything is made of Him and by Him and for Him. And that's all scripturally sound as well, and religions teach that. So by hearing these things, now she understands that what she's feeling is not so much different, but now she can define it and she can explain it. And then she said it was refreshing because she does have sometimes the doubt in her mind because she comes up with thoughts. A thought enters her mind. She doesn't will it to happen. She doesn't want to think of a certain thing. It just starts to come. And so she wondered about that for a long time. Why did I suddenly think about that? Why did that just come into my mind? Why did I dream something that I did not want to dream and ask myself to dream? And so she, by asking me about that, now she has the understanding that there's something outside of herself that she may not notice it, that's entering in her and causing some reaction and some activity. And I told her that was the inspiration and the inflow of God, that God was inspiring her and coming into her and teaching her certain things. And so this was all a wonderful meeting with this woman. She now has a different perspective. She said she will read the book, Tony's 50,000 Coincidence Miracles, and she is going to check the Bible more often about her sensations and her feelings, and she was very grateful because now she has a place to go for some sources to either confirm and support her beliefs or to clarify them further for herself. Now, I spent a lot of time telling her about the meaning of the word inspired, inflow of the Holy Spirit, inspiration, and I was telling her a lot about how you're getting inspired, and it's the power of God inspiring you. And when I got to my car as I was leaving, the car parked in back of me had a license plate, and the license plate had on it one word. It said, inspire. Imagine my joy seeing the license plate said inspire after I'd spent maybe 45 minutes talking to someone about the word inspired. That's a coincidence miracle par excellence for me. I was doing what God was inspiring me to do, teaching someone about how we get inspired and we have free will. I get to my car in a large parking lot, and the car parked next to me has a license plate, and they had just pulled in, by the way, and I met the driver and talked to them as well. God bless you all. I'll talk to you next week.